Hey, welcome back to a new episode of Resurrection Motorsports. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications when we come out with new episodes and you won't miss anything. In today's episode, we're diving into some maintenance on my daily driver 2015 F150. The rear brakes need to be done, so we're going to do rotors and pads, and I'm going to upgrade the shocks to some MaxTrac shocks to complement the 2-inch lowering shackles that I already have on the truck. And we'll knock this episode out with a little action from Gavin's car on the track. It's the very last pass that his car is going to make on the current transmission and motor setup that he has now. And so hopefully we'll get to see some new action with the new transmission and everything very soon. So on that note, let's get into it. Alright, so we're in the truck. And as you can see here, I have the electronic parking brake. This little button right here. Pull it on, press the brake, push it down. It activates the parking brake. So in order to do the brakes on this car, we have to put this in maintenance mode. A lot of Fords have this. If they have the electronic parking brake, they have to be put in maintenance mode in order to work on them, or you'll damage the cylinder inside the caliper and you'll have fluid everywhere and you'll be in a huge mess. I've seen a lot of guys post about this online because they attempted to do it just like a regular brake job without putting it in maintenance mode, and it's just a huge mess. So the trick is you will put the key in and turn it to on. So everything's up. As you can see, you got the door open because it's hot in here. So you will push it down like you're turning it off. Push the brake pedal all the way down to the floor. You'll turn the key back and then turn it back to on. Should be able to hear a couple clicks. And the dashboard goes crazy. And now you see in the middle of the screen, park brake maintenance mode. Also, if you look down here, this light is on as well. Now we're ready to start. Take the key out. As you can see, the light stays on. Park maintenance mode stays on the screen so you know. And everything went off. We'll get into the brakes now, get the wheels off, get into the calipers and pull the rotors and everything, and we got new, like I said before, we got new calipers and pads to go in. Let's get to it. What's up? We got the wheel off, which I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but if you're trying to do this job and you don't know how to get the wheel off, you probably should leave it to a professional. So anyway, we're going to work on getting this caliper off. We got a 13mm bolt here with some locking nuts back here. We'll get that off. There's I think this is a 19mm bolt here. I haven't confirmed that yet. Another one up here for the caliper bracket to get the rotor off. We'll have to remove that to get the rotor off. Once we have that off, we'll put all the new stuff on and go from there. So let's get into it. Got our 13mm here. Oh, it's to play hard to get. Got that off of there. This really is not a hard job. Just some, regular mechanics tools, and you can knock this out no problem. After getting the truck in maintenance mode, it's really just a standard brake job. This caliper should just pop right off. So as you can see, there's your piston, electronic parking brake controller up here, regular standard caliper with fluid and everything. I'm gonna just set this right there out of the way. Now let's see. How bad are these pads? Dealership, when they did my oil change, as I told you, said, oh, you're going to be metal to metal any day now. Which is interesting, because I don't think they took my wheels off. They weren't too far off about metal to metal. We're kind of, you can see a little delineation there, but we're pretty close. What's interesting, I think this one has a lot more material on it. You can see that right there. That's a lot more pad material on the backside. I'll have to keep an eye on that. So, it looks to me this caliper bracket doesn't need to come off to get this rotor off. It's not in the way. I'm going to need a big hammer to loosen it up. Okay, so this rotor, as you can see, is not coming off. Sometimes rotors get kind of stuck on here. You need a coercion tool. You need a BFG. Come on now, this is a Christian-based channel. It's a big freaking hammer. So, we're going to use our big freaking hammer and just like that, we have a rotor off. That'll go to the scrapyard. So, we now have our nice brand new shiny, yes, these are drilled and slotted rotors, and voila, it's on just like that. Now as you can see, it's kind of flopping around because it's not been held in place by the caliper and everything. So I'm going to take a lug nut and thread it down to hold this in place, or at least a little bit in place, to make this a little bit easier. Uh-oh. Plastic bag that the rotor was in is getting away. Put that right here. So, got the new rotor on. Oh, and like I was saying in the beginning in the intro, these are actually PowerStop Z36 ceramic pads. It's the same thing I have on the front. Did the front a little bit before the rear because the rear lasted a little bit longer. Another shop tool you should always have on you is a pocket knife. You need it all the time. You'd be surprised how many times you actually need a knife. It's just a good tool to have around all the time, really. So, we got these here. Oh, I forgot. I got a C-clamp here. I'm going to try to compress this caliper without damaging the electronics on the back. That's the main goal. I've never actually done a brake job on a car that had this electronic parking brake. This is my first experience with this. And it looks like, to me, this is a screw-in piston. I guess we'll see, find out real quick. This is the biggest rotor or caliper I've ever done a brake job on as well. This is crazy. I'm not a fan of this C-clamp, but it sometimes gets the job done. Yeah, this is not the screw-in kind, it just pushes right back in. So, the idea behind this is, if this is your first brake job, the pads that were in here were much thinner than the ones you're putting in, so you're now making room for the new ones that are much thicker. And I'll show you that this piston compressed in just a second. When you use a C-clamp, a lot of people put the old brake in here. I've never specifically done that, but you'll reach a point where you know it's done. You can't tighten it anymore. You don't want to force it because you can crack the piston inside the cylinder and cause damage that it's going to cost you later down the road. As you can see now, this piston that was about probably 3/4 inch out here, or if not more than that, is now pushed in. So this is actually an easier brake job. We're going to take this and slide this here and here. Oh, maybe. Ah, look at that. Slide that in there. Uh-oh. First of all, I'm going to get a new glove because I worn that one out already. Gloves are optional, obviously. I choose to wear gloves because I have actually had these gloves protect me from getting cut. Once you start sweating though, they're terrible. So, can't get that one on, no glove. So you're just going to push these in here like this, into these little clamps. Boom. Make sure that's all the way straight. You want to make sure that the rotor is straight, keeping the pads straight. Slide this back over here. Get your bolts lined back up. Boom. This is legit one of the easiest brake jobs I've ever done, especially on Fords. And there you have it. Done deal. Brakes, new pads, and rotors just like that. Nothing to it, guys. So, we're going to knock out the other side here in a minute. But, I have some bonus content for you guys. This shock is getting replaced, as is the other side. This truck is lowered 2 inches. I believe the factory shocks have seen enough, and so we're going to replace those too. Alright, so as you can see, we got this all loaded up. Rotors on, new pads in like I was showing you guys. This back here, this shock is a factory shock, and it has seen better days from what I can tell from driving this thing. And I have a 2-inch drop shackle on the back of this. So I reached out to MaxTrac and said, hey, I need new shocks. Those guys were awesome. MaxTrac's guys were on point. They gave me this. This is part number 2650LL-9. I'll leave that in the description. Basically, this is a lift shock for a 98 to 2009 Ford Ranger, a 2 to 3 inch lift shock, which just so happens to be exactly what we need for a 2-inch drop on an F2015. I guess it would be a 2009 to 2019, 2020 F150 would all use this. So if you guys have 2-inch drop shackles and you need new shocks, I highly recommend this. Comes with new bushings and everything. We're gonna get it in here, and hopefully it improves the ride. It's really simple. It's believe this is it's a 15 millimeter bolt up here that's holding it in. There's a locking tab. Let me see if you guys can see this. If you look on the back side right there on the right, there's a locking tab because you cannot get an actual tool in there to hold that bolt. And then the bottom is a 15 millimeter on the inside and an 18 millimeter on the outside. So, let's see here. Now that locking tab came off. Yeah, I'd say that shock is, it's got some good push to it. It's just going to keep going. Keep going. Oh, I was going to be lazy and use my impact, but it doesn't fit. Alright. Socket wrench it is. Using this ratcheting wrench on the other side doubles it up. Oh, it fell off. And voila. So that's off. I guess they're not blown. This actually isn't blown. It's just the ride on this thing is so uncomfortable, and I'm hoping this improves it a little bit. I guess we're about to find out here by replacing this. Yeah, it's really hard to see, but side by side for me, they're almost the same height. So, I guess we'll see what happens. Let's see if it improves anything. So we're going to put this in just the same way we took the other one out. If I can... Trash is blowing everywhere. It's such a windy day today. Hopefully you guys aren't dealing with that and it's a nightmare. The audio, I guess I'll find out in post-production. Oh. Alright. So this actually has a warning on it. It says shocks must be installed with body down and shaft pointed upward or shocks will not work and warranty will be voided. That is this direction. We're going to do the top first. Hit it with a few ugga-duggas. Sounds good to me. Now the fun part. Compressing this sucker enough. Huh? Wasn't terrible. Alright, that wasn't bad at all. Not too bad at all. Oh, I did this backwards though. Look at me, putting it in the wrong way. I'm gonna fix that, just to make sure we don't have interference of any sort. All right. So there you have it. New shock installed, all within less than like 5 minutes, I guess. Let's see, on here. There you go. And that's that, fellas. On that note, we're gonna knock out the other side. All right, we got all the brakes replaced, shocks replaced, and we're good to go. We're going to reverse the parking brake maintenance mode. So we're gonna turn the key on, let it come up. Park brake maintenance mode. We're going to pull the button. As you can hear, it's yelling at me because it's in maintenance mode. Push the gas pedal, turn it off. Key back on. Should come up here. You can hear it clicking because it's going out of maintenance mode. And that's it. We can test it. Turn it on. Brake is on. Push the button to turn it off. Says to release. Press brake and switch. Okay. Brake is off. And we've got brake pedal back like it's supposed to. Alright, that's it. We changed the brakes on the 2015 F150 EcoBoost. Easy peasy. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. Alright, there you have it. The easiest brake job I've ever done on a vehicle, period. Super simple to knock those out. I'm excited to see how the new MaxTrac shocks perform on the truck and see if it helps. I noticed before with the factory shocks I had a lot of bounce. It seemed like it was really soft suspension. We'll see if it helps any. So excited about that. Also, while you're here, don't forget that at resurrection-motorsports.com/shop is our merchandise shop. You can check out all the shirts we have. We have the Eat, Pray, Rent shirt like I have on here. We have the classic logo shirt, the original logo shirt, and we have the new Beef Torpedo shirt that represents Gavin's car. So until next time, always remember to eat, pray, wrench.